No, no, it isn't. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Welcome to some Forza Horizon 5. And if you're wondering about that intro, it's with the question that I've set. It was in either the thumbnail or title of this video. Yeah, that is a question that I've set out because I've heard it being called this. The brand new Hyundai Ioniq 5N has been added to Forza Horizon 5, and obviously I'm going to get to try it and play with it and see what it's like. But basically, the main and most important thing is that I've seen car reviewers in real life, not in video games and stuff, calling this thing the EV for car enthusiasts, right? This is the car that car enthusiasts are going to love. This was built for car enthusiasts, guys. Yes! The EV for car enthusiasts. This is what they want, guys. They want a mid-size crossover that weighs over 2 tons, and it makes fake noises from the inside, and it has fake gears that it changes. This is what we want, guys. This is what car enthusiasts want. How do you guys not realize that this is exactly what we want? No, it's not what we want. It's not. Okay? People need to stop glorifying this stuff. You can accept it for an EV. You can have an EV. That's perfectly fine. If you want to use it, you use it to go to work. You use it to daily drive. Perfectly fine. That is all good, right? I feel if it suits your lifestyle, get an EV, right? That's what I'm here to say. If it suits your lifestyle, get an EV. That's all fine. But don't pull this shit that Hyundai are doing, and actually even Abarth are doing as well with their Abarth 500 or whatever it's called. We have this thing. No, they didn't make it have it. So basically, this thing, if you didn't know, in real life, has fake sounds playing out of the speakers to make it sound like it's an actual car, right? Like it's an actual engine. Not only that, but it gave it fake gears, right? You can change gears with this thing. It doesn't have gears, by the way. It's an EV. It has just a differential. It's got the electric motor. It doesn't have like actual gears. Right, it's got a reverse gear and a forward gear, and that's it. Right, it doesn't have an actual gearbox. But you know what? It's cool though, because this is what car enthusiasts want. They want fake noise coming out of the vents. Right, this is the thing where I'm gonna give it to BMW for. Right, they hired Hans Zimmer to create whatever noise, very eerie or crazy noises that the i7 and the iX and the i5 and all the new iCars make. On the inside, they didn't go with fake engine noise. Didn't want to do anything like that. They made basically a symphony for when you're driving around, which is fine if you don't want to drive in complete silence. Maybe for some people it just makes them feel weird if they drive in complete silence, right? On the interior, like on the inside, that is perfectly fine. Don't give me this fake engine noise BS. Don't give me these like fake gears. It's like trying to force itself in a market where it just doesn't belong. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. You can have an EV and you can have it handle well. That's fine. Don't fake yourself being an EV. It just is stupid. Also, when this thing first got like showed off, right? When they first kind of released this thing to the public, and I was like, oh wow, Hyundai are doing like an EV hot hatch, right? Like it looks like it should be a hot hatch. This thing's enormous, man. It's massive. It's a mid-size crossover. That's what this car actually is. It's not a small car whatsoever. I wish that the car that was next to me that drove past wasn't a Ferrari or whatever it was. I wish it was like something like a Golf, and you see the actual size of this thing. It is huge. Again, the styling is fine. I actually quite like the styling of this thing. That's the thing, but it's just what the car stands for that is just stupid. And I know for a fact there's going to be some people defending this thing. I'm going to get hate for saying stuff like this. I couldn't give a shit. I generally couldn't. Again, like I said, the styling that Hyundai and Kia have been doing is very cool. It's interesting. It's different. It gives it like sort of like a weird like retro vibe as well with the headlights and the taillights. And it's actually alright. I don't really mind it at all. But what the car is trying to be, this like whole fake like performance thing, just nah, man. Just nah. It's trying to be like this fake performance car for car enthusiasts that's trying so hard to appeal to the people that don't care for it. If that makes sense. The people who like internal combustion engines and stuff like that. And people were saying like, this is the future of EVs. This is the future for car enthusiasts and stuff like that. No, it's not, bro. What sane person that likes cars that make noise wants to go out and buy one of these things and make it so it sounds like a Game Boy Color car accelerating on the inside of their car, and it's making noises as if it's changing gear. Just don't try stuff that shouldn't be done with a car like this. Just leave it as an EV. Just be like, yep, this is our EV Ioniq 5N. We wanted to make this thing sort of like a performance version of the Hyundai Ioniq. Jesus Christ. The Ioniq, just a regular Ioniq. We wanted to make a performance version of that, so we called it the N. We've given it some better suspension. We've made it probably lighter or whatever. We're running it on better tires and stuff like that. That's fine, right? Do all of that, right? Make a performance version of this thing. That's perfectly fine. Don't try to then appeal to the audience that don't like EVs, alright? Don't do that. Because we don't care. I'm sorry. I just don't care for this thing whatsoever. Typical Forza Aero, nothing to really add there. We do have the Rimac engine swap though, so that's kind of cool. We can get this thing 1900 horsepower, which I'm going to because I feel like it's not slow. It's not like just slow when you're driving it, but it's just, I don't know. It's not that quick. Anyway, I think the Rimac engine is going to be quite fun to mess around with this thing. So let's do that. I'll put the slow tires on it as well. I'm not going to put anything else on it. In terms of tires, I'm not going to do like drag tires or anything like that. Obviously, drift suspension is going to be allowed because we even have a button with this thing. Wait, we can't do drift suspension? Why would you allow us to have a drift mode, which in turn just making it rear-wheel drive, and then not allowing drift suspension on this thing? Why have they done the same thing as... I don't understand why they've done the exact same thing with this car that they've done with the Kia. I'm pretty sure they're based on the same platform, am I wrong in saying that? I'm pretty sure both of these, this and the Kia EV6 GT, are both based on the same platform. I don't know. This is now an S2, by the way, so I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea. I kind of want to get rid of this. And then we can kind of upgrade this, but just barely to 833 horsepower. Nah, cause that's gonna be boring, man. I don't even want to do that. I'm changing it to that. Then what else can we really change to? Like, we can't really do anything else. It's gonna be like in the middle of every class. We can't really do too much with this thing. Put drag tires on it, but then it's just not gonna be good at handling. I think overall the handling's just dog on this thing. I'll put snow tires back on it. And just hopefully try to drift it like this, I guess. I don't even know. I'll put off-road suspension on it as well, due to the fact that in previous Forza games, off-road suspension actually gave you slightly more steering angle than your regular suspension, or the race suspension even. I want to slide this thing. I don't want to drive it normally. I feel like driving it normally is a bit boring. That's the thing though with these cars, especially with the EV6 GT that I drove in a previous video. It was just slow. It just felt slow. What's top speed of this thing? 265. I don't even know how. Like, we don't really need a massive top speed with it, do we? I don't know. I'll try to figure something out for this thing, I guess. Alright then, let's drive this thing. See what it's like. I mean, it does get down. It goes sideways. It goes sideways as an all-wheel drive. Hopefully my tune is like decent enough that I can actually just straight up drive it like this. Just slide it like this. Oh god. It gets up to speed really quickly. I mean, obviously that engine makes a massive difference. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright, let's swap this to rear-wheel drive only. It's so... There it is. It's so weird now as a rear-wheel drive. It's so slow. It's so slow as a rear-wheel drive. Oh god. I want to kind of take it down the mountain now. Not as a rear-wheel drive, because I feel like I'm going to struggle a lot with it. It's got so much power as a rear wheel drive, and then it's just got... I don't have drift suspension, so I can't hold, like... there it goes. I can't hold, like, big angle with it. That's another, like, massive thing with this thing. Because of drift suspension, or lack of. Alright, let's try to slide out with an all-wheel drive setup. And... and no drift suspension. Like I said, it still wants to get down. I feel like maybe drag tires would have possibly been a good idea for this. I don't know. I think hopefully my tune setup for it is gonna work well in my favor. It does have a lot of torque. Obviously, this engine, or this electric motor from Rimac is just mental. Doesn't have steering angle, but because of the way my car is set up, I can even send it into a reverse entry and still catch it. I might need to shorten my transmission, my gear ratios. I don't even know. Can you turn this off? I'll turn this off fully. Keep going through them too quickly. There we go. I don't know why the radio's not just turned off fully. Oh, I think I used it, didn't I? I think I ended up using it for something. Anyway. Oh god. Needs drift suspension, man. It needs it. I don't know if it can be used for anything, this car. There's no... Like, it's just... Like, building cars in the middle of a class is just so boring in this game. There are cars that you can just enjoy and have fun with and stuff like that, but... I don't know, man. Some of these cars that... They bring it on the game and you can only build to like half the class. Because the jump in... Right, with I was gonna say the engine swaps. With the upgrades for the engines, for the regular cars, right? That you can have in this game. You can kind of bring them up in class by like 1 or 2 points, if that makes sense. Like 1 or 2 PI. Whereas with these EVs, you can't. It's so difficult to do. The only way you can really do it is by changing stuff like weight and tires and stuff like that. That's the only way that you can get this thing to go up or down in class. And they jump it up by a lot, right? Whereas the little upgrades for the engine, you get your little air filter, you can change your valves, you can upgrade your cams and stuff like that. All of that changes like such a small amount where it's possible to bring a car to the top of a class. And then it's like fun to try and go bring it into rivals or bring it into online racing or something like that. But this thing you just can't. You can't do anything with these cars at all. Even if you try to slide them, which this one, for example, I can't even slide properly because it didn't even bother to put drift suspension on it. Why would you not put drift suspension on these cars? This car literally has a drift mode. Why would you not put drift suspension on it? Stupid ass game. Makes no sense. Why don't you just change it so it's rear wheel drive mode or all wheel drive mode instead of saying it's drift mode when it's literally not. It just changes this thing to a rear wheel drive and that's it. You don't go into a Land Rover. You don't go into a Land Rover and then lock the diff and be like, yeah guys, look at this, I put it in drift mode. No, you don't. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Drift mode is so like... It's so like overpraised in my eyes nowadays. I feel like it's easier now obviously because it's not mechanical anymore. Obviously everything's just fully electric and you can do it basically the way you're doing it now with this thing. But you can have it on internal combustion engines as well. Like the Golf does it, the new Golf R does it. You have the Mercedes that do it as well as a bunch of the AMGs do it, where you have like drift mode. BMW, for whatever reason, still don't call it drift mode. They just call it, two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, I'm pretty sure. But again, BMW do it as well, where you can just kind of turn your car into rear-wheel drive. even though it comes with X Drive as standard. But I think drift mode is a bit overrated. It's not a new technology or anything like that. SUVs and stuff have been using it for a long time. It's just made more aware now because a lot more of the everyday cars have them. Or I guess a lot more of the regular road or street cars have them, instead of just off-roaders having them. Yeah, this thing's ass. This thing sucks. Try to keep my angle like very small, or else I'm gonna spin out. And it's gonna slow down too much. Again, like I said, with the way I built this thing, at least it's drivable. But don't expect to be doing anything crazy with it. Don't expect to be doing much with it whatsoever. Yep. 1 mil. Yeah, you're not going to be bringing this thing into any sort of races and stuff like that and actually end up winning any of them. It's going to be too slow because you're not going to be able to build it to the top of each one of the classes. You can't bring it to the top of S2, nor can you bring it to the top of S1. Alright, if you bring it to the top of S1, you're going to have to try and drive it on drag tires, or you're going to have to bring it to the top of S1. So if I do this, for example, let's try and see if we can race this thing. I'm going to give it those tires there. I'm going to get rid of that. And now we're stuck at 852 with this motor. Now if I go and I upgrade it, 883. So we're stuck at 883 now in class with everything done. So what if I do now some aero maybe? We're 882. That's with the tires, with extra wide tires, everything like that, weight reduction, brakes. Well, what do I do? Do I add the weight back on? Do I try bring it all the way down to A class? That's not gonna work. I don't think this is possible to bring this thing down into A class. Maybe it is actually. If I get rid of these tires. What can I possibly do here to bring this thing down into A class? I've tried to figure out some way to keep this thing at the top of one of the classes, and I don't know what to do. Semi-slicks? Will semi-slicks work? No, not really. Not that I could see anyway. Brilliant. Every single one of the wheels is lighter. Great. Drag tires, maybe? Then it's just in the middle of the class again. Oh god, man. 787. I don't know what to even build this thing for, or like I said, you can't bring it to the top of any of the class. Any of the classes, it's just impossible to do it. It's just so weird having this thing in the game. Alright, I brought this thing into some rivals. See what happens with it. A-class rivals. Let's see if it's good enough to keep up with any of these cars. Keep in mind that I'm still on drag tires, by the way. And it's still not at the top of the class. I mean, it drives. It definitely drives. It is driving, guys. It just feels a bit strange accelerating at corners. I think my diff setup is really, really good on it. Then again, it's so smooth at accelerating at corners. It doesn't have any, like, aggression or anything. It's just kind of, yeah. Smooth Sunday drive out of corners. Oh, I can't do that. It's going to cancel my next lap. I want to have a rolling lap, but at the same time, I also still want to go a little bit quicker because it feels like I'm going too slow which I am going too slow because this car just is slow in general. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make a decent time with it, but just try it anyway, you know? Why not? For the sake of the video. Just in case people were wondering what this is like to race with. Just feels a bit chunky, doesn't it? I don't think I can get this thing to go even lower in class, can I? I was thinking maybe adding the weight back on or something like that, and then... yeah, adding the weight back on and maybe then somehow adding more power, but it's not going to work, is it? It's going to be, again, in, like in the middle of S1 or something like that. If I do. Then it's just going to be even slower than this. Maybe around corners it's not going to be as... it's not going to go as wide, or it's not going to be as understeery, but it's going to be slow. Like, really slow. Acceleration and top speed and all that is just going to be slow due to the fact that it's going to weigh more. Right, anyway, I'm done with this thing. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Try it for yourselves. Maybe some of you guys will like it, but yeah, I can't really do anything else crazy with this thing. Again, no drift suspension is a bit annoying, even though you have the drift mode, which is, again, a little bit dumb, but yeah, anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you again for watching, everyone, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.